First things first, let's do the latest golf news. And we've got a lot of junior golf to talk about, Ian, because obviously a lot's happened in the last month. We've had.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, right, where do we start? Let's start in Scotland. Scottish Boys Championship and the Scottish Girls Championship. The Boys Championship took place at London Golf Club. It's actually boys and girls Irish double. So the Irish won the Boys Championship. Sean Keeley held off Brian Newman from South Africa. Scores of 70, 70, 67 and 69. He won by one shot. He was actually 2 shots behind going into the final rounds, but he was ahead by 3 shots going into the final round and just held on towards the end. Actually, it was Olivia Costello who was the one who came from behind to win the Girls' Championship. This took place at Long Nidri. Shot scores of 71, 69, 72 to win by 4 shots from 3 players. Sadie Adams, Nina Anderson and Zara Ali. I think Zara was actually leading going into that final round, so well done to Olivia to turn that round. Peter McAvoy Trophy. It's a competition which takes place at the golf course called Coptheath, which is quite close to me in Warwickshire. Last year's winner was Jack Lee. This year's winner was Jack Lee. Hey. So well done to him. First person ever to retain the trophy. Jack. Absolutely, yeah. 42nd run in the event, and the first time it's ever been retained. And some very, very big players have won that over the years as well. He's a Kent golfer. His shot scores of 69, 71, and then a couple of 70s on the final day to win by 2 shots from Freddie Turnell and Harry Mallin. Golfer who we know very well, Yorkshire's Jake Sodin. Yeah. He won the Trubshaw Cup by 5 shots. That took place over in Wales. Ashburnham and Tenby, the 19-year-old. The actual final round was called off fog, so it was played over 3 rounds. He had a 2-shot lead going into the final day. He actually extended that with a 3rd round of 69, and then, as we say, the fog came in for the final round, so he didn't actually have to play the final round. But which I'm sure one of those scenarios whereby you want to play the round, but when you lead, you go, actually, I don't mind if that happens. Absolutely, yes. Right. Well, how about this for a name for a competition? I love this as the name of a trophy. The Battle Trophy.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Yes. This took place in Scotland at Crail Golf Club. It was won by Jack McDonald. Big winning margin as well. He won by 9 shots. The 21-year-old was 2 shots ahead going into after the first round. That was halved after the second round, but then really stretched it away in the 3rd and 4th round. He shot a 69 and then a final round of 70 to finish well clear of Matthew Allen. So well done to Jack. Right. Wales again. The Welsh Men's Open Stroke Play Championship was won by Milan Reid from Long Ashton. He's 18 years old. And once again, another great round in the final round. Shot a 68 in the final round. He was actually 5 adrift going into that final day. Shot a 68 in the final round and then won the playoff against Robert Holden on the first extra hole.
Well done.
Absolutely, yeah. Right. Next one, I think we might have. I can't remember now which photos we've got. I think we've got a photo of the winner of this one, the Lytham Trophy. Frank Kennedy Jr. won the competition. Scores of 70, 68 and 68, and then a final round of 72. And you might notice the person on the right-hand side of that photo. Go on, Ian, you tell me who that is.
Fanny Sunnison.
Fanny Sunnison, of course, who's caddy for him. So how about that?
That's pretty good going, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. So that took place at Royal Lytham Golf Club, over 72 holes. He won by 2 shots from James Ashfield and Louis Masiva from Spain. Other players who did quite well, Hugh Foley and Sam Easterbrook were tied 4th in that competition. But a big event, obviously, the Lytham Trophy. So well done to Frank. Event, yeah. And that's a player who's got some talent as well. He's as you know, obviously you're well aware of the Fado series. He earned some rights to play in some events. Yeah. Actually, I think if you remember, he played in 3 European Tour events or DP World Tour events last year in the Middle East. And I think he made the cut in all 3 of them. If you remember,
that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, so some talent there. Absolutely, yeah. We'll certainly want to watch out for there. Right, the Fairhaven competitions then, the boys and the girls trophy. Boys competition was won by Chris Kim from Walton Heath. Won by 6 shots, 70, 70, 62, and then 70, 70, 72, and then finished with a 68. Finished ahead of Jonathan Eriksson from Sweden, Gavin Tiernan, and Benedict Bonich from Germany. So well done to him. The girls competition was won by Ireland McDonald O'Brien.
Ireland McDonald, again, another Faldo Series player.
Absolutely, yep. So did really well. Shot 74, 74, 79. So she was actually a shot adrift going into the final round, but then finished with a round of 70 to win by 6 shots in the end. She was the only person actually under par. So well done. Caitlin Shipham from Ireland finished second in that competition. The Selborne Salver, that took place at Blackmore Golf Club. Zach Little won the competition, 75 and 65 in the final round to win that. Darren Walkley actually finished level with him, so went to a playoff. Third hole of the playoff, eventually Jack birdied the third hole and won the playoff. Third place in that was George Ash, another player who's been mentioned on the podcast on many occasions as well.
Oh yes, George, good old George.
Yep. Right, R&A Girls Under 16s Championship. I said there was a lot of news to cover. I think we only been halfway through it yet, by the way. Took place at Enville Golf Club. Germany's Antonia Steiner won. Lots of playoffs for these competitions. Another playoff, and this time, actually, this sounds like a fantastic playoff because both the players, so it was her and also Anika Kovacic, I think her name is from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Both of them. On the par 5 in the greenside bunker in 2. So it's basically who can get up and down. The Czech girl, unfortunately, she missed from 25 foot, but Antonia holed from 12 foot for a birdie to win the competition. So well done to her.
Nice track, by the way, Enville, as well, I have to say. Absolutely no signal there, so you cannot broadcast from there at all. But really nice course.
So gonna hold fire on doing the live broadcast from there then, is that what you're saying then?
Well, we tried to do it with Clutch a couple of years ago. We had to just record and then put it together as a show after.
Okay. All right. Well, if anyone's out there and recorded that and is going to broadcast it live, we apologise for doing a spoiler there and telling you who won the playoff.
Can we just say, actually, by the way, if anybody does attend these tournaments, if you are going to a junior tournament, do send your photos and videos to Steve, and we can show them on this podcast. And we always do news sections, so do get in touch with us. Do send your photos if you're happy to, of course, and videos. Obviously, make sure you get the necessary permissions first. But we can, and we'll play them on the show if we've got permission from you.
Yes, absolutely. And we are going to show you a photo now. And this is a player who's been mentioned on a few occasions, Lorna McClymont, because she's had a fantastic year. I mean, she had a great year last year. There's the trophy because she won the Welsh Open Stroke Play Championship at Prestatyn. She's 22 years old, but she's still a junior because she's placing some student competitions as well. All right, then. So her scores then, 73, 68, 67. She won by 2 shots from Jennifer Saxton then. Right. Her last 32 holes then, what do you reckon under par she was then, Ian? I know you love doing these. So this and we're talking here top quality standard here then. So I know some of the very young ones, we have some really holes. Silly scores kind of. The last 31 holes then, how many under par do you think she was?
So she must have been a bit over par then if she got only one, what was it, 2 under, did you say she finished? It's not going to be crazy then. I'm going to say 7 under for the final 31.
Not bad, yeah. 14 under par she was for the last 31 holes.
Wow.
So wow. Yes. So that's some way to do it. And I said that she's in form because she went into that competition on the back of being crowned the Student Golfer of the Year after winning the British Universities and Colleges, the ladies' competition. The boys' competition went to another person who's been mentioned on a regular occasion, George Cannon, another one who's been covered on many occasions. So well done to Lorna. Right. The Danny Willett Salver, this took place at Lindrick Golf Club, was won by Lincolnshire's Callum Bruce. 71, 70, 67 and 69. I think the third round was the real big one there because in his first 7 holes he had 5 threes in his first 7 holes, and that pretty much will set him up for the rest of the tournament. So well done to him. Another player has been mentioned on many occasions on this podcast. These names do crop up on regular occasions.
Well, we'll be seeing them on the TV, won't we?
Absolutely,
playing DP World and PGA.
Jack McPhail, who did really well on the Fowler Series event. If you remember I think it was last year. I think in Wales he did very well. He's won the Hendricks Trophy at Hesketh Golf Club. Scores of 70 and 68. He won by 3 shots from Greg Holmes. Right, some players here who once again, top quality players representing England in the Seve Ballesteros Trophy. This is a match against Spain, and I tell you what, this sounded like a thrilling match because it came down to the singles. Spain were winning by some distance. England were the defending champions. The match actually finished in a 15-all draw. So therefore, England retained the competition. It took place at Worplesdon Golf Club. But it really came down to the last 3 matches, all involving England international girls players. And those 3 players, Elise Reimer, she got a half. Amelia Wan lost on the 18th hole, which meant it all came down to someone who's been mentioned already, Isla McDonald O'Brien. And she won the 18th hole to make sure that the match.
What a year she's having then.
Absolutely.
Well, what a month she's had,
yes.
Shall we say.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And other players who were mentioned who were part of that team, Frank Kennedy, who was mentioned earlier, Aaron Edwards-Hill, who's going to make mention in a second, and Josh Berry, who's also going to get mentioned in a second, and Dylan Shaw-Radford, who's going to get mentioned in a second. And the reason why they're going to get mentioned in a second is because they represented England in the European Nations Championship, and England won it. So well done to England. They finished ahead of Italy. And the other player in the team, who was also part of that England team, which played in the Seve Ballesteros Trophy, he's not a junior, but he's a player who we rate very, very highly, and a lot of people rate very highly, and that's John Goff. And he was part of that team as well. I
tell you something, John Goff is one of the most consistent players I've ever come across. John Goff's the type of player, you know, he's a bit like, you remember Brooks Koepka?
Yes.
When he was, it's good, always good, and then suddenly, when the big tournaments, he goes on and turns up for the big tournament. That's John. I mean, he turns up for the little ones as well. But
yes.
But he seems to always win the big ones, John Goff, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
He's a big time player.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think he finished second in the individual in that event as well. So obviously he was one of the main reasons why that England did so well in the competition. And of course those 3 juniors we mentioned there as well. Right, just a 3 or 4 little stories then to finish with. The Terre Blanche Ladies Open, which took place on the LET Access Series. We've got a photo of the winner here. It was won by French amateur Louis Irma Landgraf. And the reason why we're mentioning her is because she is 14 years
12?
old.
I wasn't far off. I was going to say, how young does she look?
Yes, 14 years old. She won.
Can I just say as well, right, the LET Access, it's not broadcast live. However, I have numerous times tried to get in touch with LET Access and offered to come and live stream it for them. And you know what? I've not even so much as had as a no thank you, Ian. I've just had zip. And I know from talking to a number of ladies European Tour players, they all say the same thing. What a waste. We need to get you guys at these events. So if you're watching, if by any chance somebody from the Access Series is watching, come on, stop ignoring me.
Yes.
Serious. Like we've had millions of people tune in to watch golf.
And as we are mentioning here, there are stories there which people want to hear about, So
this is
a 14-year-old
it's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Five birdies as well in that final round to win the competition. So well done to her as well. West of England Championship that took place at Royal North Devon. Mark Stockdale, who's a friend of mine, he won the competition. Rounds of 70, 66, 74 and 67. Go on, quiz question for you then. So 4 rounds there. How many birdies and eagles did he have then?
What was his final score?
So 70, 66, 74 and 67. So 2 good rounds and 2 reasonable rounds, shall we say.
Is this ours? Is this what we've got a picture of?
No, that's the last story.
Okay. That's the last one. How many rounds was it again?
4 rounds. 4.
How many birdies and eagles just combined? I don't know. It's obviously a lot. 12,
yeah. 23 birdies and an eagle in 72 holes.
I'm always so conservative.
Right. Now, we've obviously talked about some of the big events there which have took place and everything like that. And we will talk about one more in a second or two. But I just want to mention as well, I was at the Northern Junior Golf Tour event last weekend at Crewe Golf Club. They had a full field, took some photos and everything. And they were great, and it was really great to see the kids out there. And just a mention as well for some of the other junior events and tours and opens and all that kind of things which are taking place, because there have been lots taking place, and there's been lots of juniors out there playing. So keep out there and keep on playing in these events, because.
And again, if we are missing anything, if you're watching this going, we didn't mention my tournament, or I've got this coming up, there's a lot to keep track of. Tell us, please do let us know. Comment below or get in touch with Steve at Progress Junior Golf. The website is, I believe it's running across the bottom as well. So please do get in touch with us if we miss anything. We apologise, but if you've got a story we want to hear it. So please get in touch with us, and it will make the show.
Yeah.
It will make the show. So do get in touch.
Right, final thing. Then we're going to have to put the scorecard up. Then, Liam, this is a scorecard, and I've only just saw that this evening. Then, so that's a scorecard which most people would be very impressed with, wouldn't they? And so let me tell you, that is a qualifier for the US Women's Open. So obviously, as you can see, 6,400.
I know this story.
All right. How old is the golfer who has shot that score?
Well, I know how old she is. She's 9 years old, isn't she?
9 years old. Bella Simoes is her name, and she has just shot 85 in a US Open qualifying competition, and
that is unbelievable, isn't it?
That is just stunning. You know, I saw a little bit of criticism on Twitter saying, "How can you let this 9-year-old play? And what's the point of doing that?" Well, that's the point there. The fact that she can go and shoot 85. You know, and I bet you there will be some. You know, top players who have shot more than that kind of thing. You know, what an experience.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
I mean, look, that's laid out properly as well, isn't it? There's no sort of gimmies there.
Yeah.
That is, you know, playing up against, you know, the best of the best, you know, aiming to qualify. That is just remarkable. I mean, congratulations to that young lady. Stick in the game, because I'll tell you something. That is that's Tiger Woods standard, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and also when I saw the video of it, I think she actually hit the first shot of the tournament. So that was a little bit of pressure as well, standing there on that first tee and starting a US Open qualifier with a 9-year-old. I mean, that's. You know.
Let me ask you this, Steve: who qualified?
Exactly, no idea. That's
Neither
the story. Yes.
But I know who she is.
Absolutely, and once again, I go back to that point about people criticising and saying, how could you let this 9-year-old? Lexi Thompson played in the US Open at the age of 12, so you know these things you do get. You get
and
players
that wasn't a gimmick either, because as we know, Lexi's gone on to have one of the best careers.
Absolutely,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So these aren't gimmies. These aren't just PR stunts. They are shaping these players up for a long, successful future in the game.
Absolutely.